Good morning, friends. It's nice to see you again through this video of Learn Logistics. And as I mentioned earlier, please send your comments and suggestions to my above email ID to enable me to give you more improved videos in future. Now let us see the subject. Earlier we have seen how our body is an example for a logistics. Now we will see how our ancient India had done logistics. For example, about 5,000 years ago in Kurukshetra, presently it is in Haryana state, the Mahabharat war, which is an ancient world war, because prior to that or after that, no such war has happened till First World War. I'd like to narrate certain things how the supply chain management or logistics would have happened. It gives a lot of surprises to us. During Abhimanyu's marriage, you may be aware, Abhimanyu is son of Arjuna with King Virada's daughter. All the kings from various parts of the Bharat were assembled to witness the same. After completion of 13 years exile of Pandavas was over, one day when everybody is assembled in the house of King Virata, Krishna started giving a speech in which he touched upon the Pandavas has completed 13 years of exile and they should go to Hastinapur and claim their kingdom back from Kauravas. Also, he states that he may refuse to give. In that case, what is the strategy we should adopt? The other kings says that Pandava should prepare for a war. All the kings accepted and confirmed their support to Pandavas. It was decided to send a capable ambassadors to all the kingdoms to mobilize the support for Pandavas if war is inevitable. Accordingly, they sent envoys to all over Bharat, to various kingdoms. Here I would like to give a narration of how in those days the armies was functioning and army, what are the divisions within the army was there. This is what I learned through books, various books and other internet sites. I'm just narrating it. The division of army in ancient times were just as below. The small portion of army is called Patti. The leader or the commander was called Pattika. In that there were one elephant rider, one chariot rider, and average 5 horses per chariot. Cavalry are the horse riders, 3 horses and 3 riders, and soldiers 5. All this combined becomes a patti. And next level was Senamukha, which is comprising of 3 pattis, and the commander or the leader is called Senamukhi. In that, it comprises 3 elephants and 3 elephant riders, 3 chariots and 3 chariot riders, and 15 horses for chariots. And cavalry or the horse fighters 9 and riders 9 and soldiers 15. And next level was Kulma, which is comprising of 3 Senamukha, and the commander or the leader is called Nayak. It comprises 9 elephants, 9 elephant riders, 9 chariots, 9 chariot riders, 45 horses, 27 cavalry or horse, and 27 horse riders, 45 soldiers. And next level was Gana. So 3 Kulma is comprising of 1 Gana. And the leader or the commander is Gana Nayak. It comprises of 27 elephants, 27 elephant riders, 27 chariots, 27 chariot riders, and 135 chariot horses. And cavalry 81 horses and 81 riders. And soldiers were 135. Next level was Vahini, which comprises 3 Gana. And the leader or the commander is Vahini Nayak. It comprises 81 elephants, 81 riders, 81 chariots, 81 chariot riders, and 405 horses for chariots. Cavalry is 243 horses and 243 riders, and 405 soldiers. Next level was Brudanai. That is 3 Vahini comprising Brudanai. It comprises 243 elephants, 243 elephant riders, 243 chariots, 243 chariot riders, 1215 horses, 729 cavalry horses, 729 horse riders, 1215 soldiers. Next level was Sena. 3 Brudanai comprising 1 Sena, and the leader or commander is Senapati. It comprises 729 elephants, 729 elephant riders, 729 chariots, 729 chariot riders, and 3645 horses for chariots. And cavalry is 2187 horses and 2187 riders, and 3645 soldiers. And next level was Anihini. It comprises 3 Senas, and the leader or commander is Anikat. It comprises 2187 elephants, 2187 elephant riders, 2187 chariots, 2187 chariot riders, 10,935 horses for chariots, and cavalry 6,561 horses, 6,561 soldiers, riders, 10,935 soldiers. And the next level, which is a comprising 10 Anihini, it is called Ashuhini. And the leader or the commandant is Mahasenapati or Pradhan Senapati. It comprises 21,870 elephants, 21,870 elephant riders, 21,870 chariots, 21,870 chariot riders, 1,09,350 horses for chariots, and cavalry 65,610 horses and 65,610 horse riders, 1,09,350 soldiers. If you see, in total, one Ashwini comprising of 2,18,700 human beings, 21,870 elephants, 1,74,960 horses. It gives a big picture how the army was in those days, how it is arranged. And in this table, I am presenting you the kingdoms and kings who have supported Kauravas and what were their strength, and kingdoms and kings who supported Pandavas and what is their strength, and what is the total army participated in the Mahabharat war. If you see in this, about 11 Ashwini were participated in Kaurava's side, and we see individually it is Pragyodisha kingdom. The king who participated was Bhagadatta with one Akshini Sena. And next kingdom was Mathura, and the king was Shalya, who participated with one Akshini Sena. And from Mahishmati kingdom, the king Nila participated with one Akshini Sena. And from Yadava's side, that is Krishna's side, the king who participated was Kritavarma with one Akshini Sena. The kingdom who participated next was Saindava, and the king was Jayatratha with one Akshini Sena. The next kingdom was Kamboja, and the king was Sudakshina with one Akshuni Sena. The next kingdom was Avanti, and the kings were Vinda and Anuvinda with one Akshuni Sena. The next kingdom was Kalinga, and the king was Surtayudha with one Akshuni Sena. Next kingdom was Gandhara. King was Shakuni, who is the uncle of Duryodhana, with one Akshuni Sena. The next kingdom was Trigarta. The king was Susharma with one Akshuni Sena. The next kingdom is Gurus and its allies, that is Duryodhana and its allies, with one Akshuni Sena. So in total Kaurava side, you can see 2,40,520 elephants were participating, 2,40,570 chariots participated, 7,21,710 cavalry participated, and 12,02,850 soldiers participated. And if you see the total in Gaurava side is 19,24,560 horses and 24,05,700 human beings. Now let us see the Pandavas. The kingdom which participated is Vrishni. Again it's a Yadava, and the king was Satyahi with one Akshuni Sena. And the next kingdom was Bhoja. Again it's a Yadava clan. And the king is Kunti Bhoja with one Akshuni Sena. Next is the kingdom is Chedi, and the king was Drishyaketu with one Akshini Sena. The next kingdom was Magadha. The king was Sagadeva with one Akshuni Sena. The next kingdom was Panchala, and the king was Drupada with one Akshuni Sena. The next kingdom was Matsya, and the king was Virata with one Akshuni Sena. And there were other lot of kingdoms like Pandava, Chola, Pandya, Rakshasas, and others, small allies of Pandavas who participated. In total, it was one Akshuni Sena. And in total Pandava side, if you see, there were 1,53,090 elephants, 1,53,090 chariots, 4,59,270 cavalry, and 7,65,450 soldiers. You see, in total, it is 12,24,720 horses and 15,30,900 human beings. If you see in total war, both Gaurava and Pandava put together, there were 3,93,660 elephants, 3,93,660 chariots, 11,80,980 cavalry, and 19,68,300 soldiers. And put together, it comes to 31,49,280 horses and 39,36,600 human beings. So around 40 lakhs people participated in that, apart from 3,93,660 elephants, 3,93,660 chariots, 31,49,280 horses. So this is the total army participated based on the certain books and internet sources. There may be some variations between one to other books or sources. Otherwise, it is approximate to understand how big was the war. It is a wonder to note how the battleground or area to accommodate such a huge army was prepared. I also wonder how the troops are moved from all over India to Kurukshetra, and how many days travel, and what are the other arrangements required to ensure smooth movement. If you see, from south, Cholas, Pandyas moved on Akshuni Sena for participating in the war, which means elephants 21,870, chariots 21,870, horses 1,74,960, and human beings 2,18,700. If you see that how the duration was, if you take when they left from their place, they might have thought that they will win the war and they will come back. In that case, what would have been their plan? So transit days may be 15 to 20 days for the distance of 2,500 to 3,000 kilometers. because there was no proper roads or electricity or no vehicles in those days. So in that condition, we take it as 15 to 20 days for travel of 2500 to 3000 kilometers. And turnaround time, because the war was for 18 days and they may arrived 4 5 days before, and even they have to leave, they might have left 4 5 days after. So all put together, I take it as 65 to 70 days was the total duration they have to spend from their home. So what are the items they should have planned apart from elephants, horses, riders for the same and troops? There must be caterers, rice, cereals, spices and other provisions, vegetables, water, feed for elephants and horses, transportation of all items, people and storage items and tents, etc. Apart from which they should have taken doctors and their assistants, because it is a must in any war to take care of injuries or the sickness, illness, en route as well as during the war. So when we think it is unimaginable how they manage such a complex logistics in those days. Because for example, if we take it even today to conduct a political party conferences, because in those only the lakhs of people are participating. In present condition, only even 12 lakh of people can participate at the same time. The preparations are made during 6 months, at least in advance or more. And also, I understand from the books and the internets, so the rules and regulations which they maintained during the war, both the parties have and agreed to follow those conditions. 1. Start the war not earlier than sunrise and end exactly at sunset. 2. No more than one warrior attack a single warrior. 3. Two warriors may duel or engage in prolonged personal combat only if they carry same weapons and they are on the same type of mount, that is either on foot or horse or elephant or on a chariot. 4. A warrior needs to be challenged and warned before any duel fightings. Number 5. No warrior may kill or injure a warrior who has surrendered. 6. One who surrenders becomes a prisoner of war and will then be subjected to protections of a prisoner of war. 7. No warrior may kill or injure an unarmed warrior. 8. No warrior may kill or injure an unconscious warrior. 9. No warrior may kill or injure a person or animal not taking part in the war. Number 10. No warrior may kill or injure a warrior whose back is turned away. Number 11. No warrior may attack a woman. Number 12. No warrior may strike an animal not considered a direct threat. 13. The rules specific to each weapon must be followed. Example, it is prohibited to strike, then it should be prohibited. 14. Below the waist in mace or warfare, warriors may not engage in any unfair warfare. If you see in today's context, no such things are followed, even though there are certain conditions agreed upon internally or internationally. Next, if you look at the food arrangements during the war, that also gives us a big surprise. With the Udupi king, when he reached Kurukshetra with his army, on seeing the preparations, he decided not to participate in the war. Hence, he approached Krishna and said his intentions. Then Krishna asked him, "So, what is your strategy?" Then he asked Krishna, "What is the food arrangement for the people involved in the war from both the sides?" Then Krishna said, "He is right. Nobody thought on that. So, what is your suggested remedy for the same?" Then Udupi king said that he and his army will manage the food arrangement for all the participants of the war in both sides. Krishna permitted him to do so. So he managed efficiently by way of great skill to ensure that all are fed to their requirement and not wasted a single grain. No extra food was available after everybody is eaten. It is completely finished. He cooked for the exact people who are alive on that day. So after the war is over, on the coronation as a king, Yudhishthira told Udupi king, even though everybody praised Pandavas for fighting with a small army, but won the battle due to their skills, but he admires that Udupi king for his service of providing food without any wastage, even though nobody knows how many will be killed in the war and how many will be survived for the day. When Udupi king congratulated Yudhishthira for winning the war, Yudhishthira said, "It is the glory of Sri Krishna, due to which we have won the war." Then Udupi king said that food preparation too is due to glory of Sri Krishna. Everybody was surprised to note. Then king clarified that secret that he used to give counted peanuts to Sri Krishna to eat in the night. Udupi king estimated the food requirement for the next day based on the leftover count of peanuts in multiple of thousands. If 5 peanuts are left balanced by Krishna, then 5,000 soldiers will be killed in the war. Based on this, Udupi king used to arrange for cooking and prepare food for the rest of the expected survivors. The same will be proved on the next day, battle. But still, the preparations for nearly 40 lakh people should have been a marathon exercise in the beginning, and also getting all items for the same in time. And also, I understand that this is frequently narrated in Udupi Mutt also. The above data and information of Mahabharata are taken from the books I read and through internet. There may be contradictions to some other versions. This is only to think about how logistics would have happened in those days and not to elaborate or say about Mahabharata. From the above data, you can understand how much preparations are required and the time frame for arrangements and movements. Apart from which, the battlefield to be made ready, accommodation and other arrangements for 38 lakh people, elephants, horses, and chariots. The land required for the same near the battlefield, people, cattle, etc. in that area to be evacuated and placed in different area. Even though we narrated of transit time, war days and return days, what we understand is only 18 survivors were there after the war. That means all the 38 lakh and odd soldiers, chariots, armies, and elephant riders were killed in the war. What we understand from the books and internet sources, even the nuclear arms and ammunitions were used in those days. Presently, whatever was found in Kurukshetra on arms and ammunition are kept in museums, from where certain scientists have found that those items are still contains radiation due to nuclear, maybe Brahmastra, which tend to be powerful to destroy all, including human beings, animals, tree and plantations, mountains, and seaside in that area. Even I understand it will take more than 12 years for rain to come in that area. Refer the Wikipedia. The above Mahabharata is one of the classic examples how complex and tough logistics would have been performed in those days. Thank you, friends, and as usual, your comments and suggestions are welcome. Please send it to me in this above email ID, and hope you will benefit from this. We look forward for more interactions in future. Thank you.